It's the Bean Boys.
Jingle beans, jingle all the beans. Oh my God, it's a bunch of beans. Stevie, sing along. Go.
No.
Hey, that was good. Okay, how about this? We wish you a merry beans, miss. We wish you a merry
No.
beans. Okay. Beans, 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 beans in my hair. Beans, 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 beans everywhere. How about that
On
one?
the 12th day of Christmas, my true...
Chris's. 12th Chris's.
What?
That's what you said.
Really? I thought it said Christmas.
12th Chris's. It's just Chris pops in. Hey guys.
My true Chris gave to me a pot full of Bush's baked beans.
Merry Christmas,
This
everyone.
is stupid. I hate this bit.
Why do you hate it? It's Christmas. Yay.
That's it. We're not doing this podcast anymore.
Our upstairs neighbors are being really loud.
Can
as
you
usual.
hear it? Gabriel's trumpet is sounding.
That's
You crawl
on
over each other like rats in a sewer.
What? I'm so, are you just channeling the 25 cents guy?
No, it's he did another one with Papa John's.
Oh, really?
And that's the line from it.
Oh, that's
like,
really good.
It's like, wow, Papa John's, you ate 40 pizzas in 30 days. How's it feel? He just responds like, can you hear it? Gabriel's trumpet is sounding. A day of reckoning is upon us. And yet you listen with deaf ears.
Oh, dude, that guy's so good at that voice. It's really funny.
Like, the best thing is, like, a lot of his stuff, like, it's like, oh, yeah, it's like a creepy, like, monologue with that same voice for a lot of stuff. And then the ending of that video is just like, yeah, it's great and all, but you gotta tone down with the racial slurs? And he's like, maybe.
Topical.
Like, he goes into saying that he's like an angel descended from heaven and that you'll create like a new pizza utopia.
Oh, dude, Pizza Utopia sounds good.
He's like, can you hear me now, pizza god? They've clipped my wings and I can no longer fly to you.
That's the first thing I think of is like have you seen Spaceballs?
Yeah.
Like Pizza the Hut.
Oh,
Pizza the Hut, please save us all. Anyway, welcome to the Bean Boys pod. You're here with Pinto and Bush. Stevie, how you doing, buddy?
Today's been kind of a wild ride. Like, I had a really rough shift at work and I didn't get much sleep because of a sleep paralysis episode. And I was also really frustrated, and also now I'm hungry. I'm a hungry boy.
Do you want to stop and eat something?
No, it's fine. But other than that, I'm fine. My mood's a lot better because I just watched episode 5 again in my like continuing Star Wars marathon with some friends of mine. Episode 5 obviously still holds up and it's super good. So like, we weren't really dissecting the movie a lot, but we were arguing about some stuff from episode 8. And I was just like, the other two people I was watching with it, one of them is like absolutely lock and step on my side with, and I guess our side with how we feel about it. But the other one had some like quibbles, and like one of the ones was he's just like, I feel like the whole Lightspeed RAM thing is a Pandora's box because why wouldn't you just do that all the time? And I was like, no, that's stupid. You would just run out of ships.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, but I was like, they don't have that many ships. You just run out.
Well, plus she died because of it.
And he's like, well, why don't you just use droids? And it's like, but then you just run out of droids. Like, and not only that, but like, and he's like, well, why don't you just couldn't they have just blown up the Death Star by having a bunch of X-Wings piloted by droids flying it? It's like, no, that's not how that works. Like, you would run out of resources.
Can X-Wings even jump to hyperspace?
Yeah, they can.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But, like, I don't think they'd cause that much destructive force, even if you threw, like, 5 of them at the Death Star.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and then, so there's a couple times where like we talked about how phaser or the blasters have like a stun feature, and I was like, I feel like the ability for blasters to kill is a Pandora's box. It just should have. Why aren't they just doing that all the time?
Why don't they just only use clones? Because they could just have limitless amounts.
And then I started like pointing out stuff that's in like episode 5 that people constantly complain about in the new trilogy. Like R2 does something wacky, and I was like, man, I hate funny droid. Yeah. He's only here for comedic purposes. He's not serious droid like BB-8.
They just want to use him to sell toys.
Oh, I can't wait for when we watch Return of the Jedi tomorrow and be like, I hate small furry things that are just used for toys. Why isn't this there? Stupid comic relief droid. Why not serious like BB-8?
That's the thing, man. People act all high and mighty about those movies, and they're like, "Oh man, that's back when Star Wars was Star Wars." Yeah. And it's like, yeah, and it still is. Yeah, it's the same thing. They're just fun, entertaining movies.
Oh, like, blue milk's dumb. Yoda eats leaves. That's cool.
Yeah.
There's snakes in his hut.
Dude, I forgot there were snakes in his hut. And
There's
I'm like,
so many snakes on Dagobah.
I'm really scared of snakes. And like when I watched that movie, even though they're harmless and they're clearly just fake, I was like, no.
Like Luke is literally like picking one up casually off of his dining table.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And then before that, it's like, oh, cool. What are you eating, Luke? Oh, a protein cigar? Like, that's all that looks.
I just love my favorite thing about episode 5 is how much Frank Oz sounds like Miss Piggy while doing the voice of Yoda. God. Did you notice that when you were watching it? Every time he's just like like doing that, and I can just hear him being like,
when he started beating R2 with the stick. I don't know. It made me think of like the bad lip reading where it's like, seagulls, hey, stop it now. Like,
it's so good.
It's pretty good. And I also when Obi-Wan shows up, I just reminded myself that like the actor who played Obi-Wan hated Star Wars, and he thought it was ruining a generation. But like, that's all I know him from.
Yeah, exactly.
That's all like millions upon millions of people know him from. Like, and I'm just like, man, f*** that guy.
Yeah, he I remember you telling me that story. What, he like told a kid to not waste his time watching Star Wars or whatever?
It's
That's
like
so dumb.
It's like
I don't get it.
Oh god, how Michael Caine, he like hates getting fan mail from people that like mostly know him from the Nolan Batman movies. It's like, oh, you should have known my body of work. It's like, yeah, but it like for every actor, it's like, for whatever movie you're doing, that's someone's first time seeing you.
Exactly.
Like, that's always like I forgot. I think it was like either Jack Kirby or Stan Lee that was like every comic is someone's first comic book. Like same with actors. So like I just don't get it. I get like if you've done a lot of really serious movies that you're proud of and people only know you for that and they don't want to check out your work. Yeah, I could understand like that being a little annoying, especially when you're not super invested. But like you can't get mad. I don't know.
Well, what I don't get about it is like, okay, so people know Michael Caine primarily from the Dark Knight trilogy. It's not a bad thing to know him from.
Yeah.
That's a really good set of movies. Yep. It really reinvigorated, like, I mean, obviously Marvel things were going on then, and so like that was a big deal, but like that was really like DC's first win.
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't primarily like DC oriented and everything. I mean, we could go down that rabbit hole, but like, I don't know. Like, I knew Jack Black from School of Rock before I knew him from Tenacious D, the band or the movie. And it's like, School of Rock's one of my favorite movies.
Or from Goosebumps.
I mean, yeah. Is that movie even any good? I haven't seen it.
It's okay.
It's
it's non-offensive. It's just kind of like boilerplate okay. And like there's a scene where they're like, I feel like every time something pops up, they like announce the name of the thing and what book it's from. And it feels too like jingle, like the bad kind of nostalgia.
Right.
Jingle it in your face, Ready Player One type.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like it's less like candy and more like a poster, or so, I guess that's a weird analogy.
Wow, it's the beast from the east. Like,
yeah,
it just feels robotic.
Well, to be fair, if the movie's just okay, I mean, the source material's just okay. I actually heard a story a long time ago. I was at a camp, and I was way into Goosebumps books for a while, and I was reading one of them, and the guy that was on the top bunk next to me, I was like getting to know him, and I was just like, "Hey, you like Goosebumps?" And he was like, no, not really. I don't read those anymore." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And oh no, I'm mixing it up. I remember. Sorry, I got my story totally mixed up. I was reading a book in school. It was a Goosebumps book, and I asked my teacher if she liked them, and she said she used to, but then she saw an interview with R.L. Stine, and he was like, "I don't care about those freaking kids. I just want their money." Or he said something like that.
Really?
And she like threw away all the Goosebumps books. And then the story at the camp was the guy next to me was reading a Goosebumps book, and I was like, "Hey, R.L. Stine said he doesn't care about us and he just wants our money." And he was like, "Yeah, he's trying to make a living." And then he just went back to reading his book. I was like, okay. I hated summer camp, man. I went to 2, and one of them was good, and one of them was just awful. I hated it so much. Did you ever go to summer camp? Band camp doesn't count.
No. The closest I ever got was like just a night, and it was my 5th grade took a field trip to a like little summer camp type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we got to eat in like a big dining hall and watch holes. We got to do like rock climbing on an inflatable rock climbing thing. We got to camp outside, which sucked.
No, of course, it's camping.
We were in tents, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we were on like cots, and it was cold, and I did not really bring anything to like any kind of blanket or any sleeping bag. I wasn't really informed what the sleeping situation was, and so super cold, and I was shivering, and I was bunking with someone that I didn't really care. Like, I wasn't really great friends with them. In addition, I think like a lot of the boys are trying to sneak into the girls' camp at night, but then I just kept hearing people running and then running back. And then the next day, we were super excited because someone had spread a rumor that we were going to go swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go through a bunch of these boring activities that I don't know why they saved them for the end of it. We're all super tired, and we start walking towards the pool, and it's like, oh yeah, oh yeah. And then in like spitting distance of this pool, they're like, "We're gonna teach you how to make knots."
What?
You want to learn how to do a bowline? No, I want to swim.
Why do you have to go to a pool to learn how to tie knots?
Like, we weren't at the pool, but like
you could just see
you could walk to it.
Oh,
it was
my God.
like if I ran for like 2 or 3 seconds, I could have gotten to the fence, climbed up it, and been in the pool. But they were just like, no.
So the summer camp I went to, we didn't have a pool. We had a pond.
Oh.
And it was not good because that pond was disgusting. But they were like, "All right, go run around now." And so we just, I don't know why I'm giving them that accent. They were like teenagers, but we went and like played in the pond, and it was really gross. And oh man, I hated it. My friend like fell into a creek and like cut his arm open, and
that could be fatal depending on where
it just, oh man, it wasn't a good time. Yeah, Yeah, I have some weird stories about that one, but I don't know if I want to go into them.
Wow, way to just be super vague and make it sound super dire.
It's a little gross, and so I don't know that I want to go into it, but whatever, I'll go into it. So this was
this podcast is not where you decide to be reserved, Dylan.
So
I don't want to make entertainment.
So we're swimming in a pond all week, and there was one day. Okay, well, first of all, so the shower situation at this camp was just dumb. I hated it. I was very shy. At that age, I was in like 5th grade. Or like just finished 5th grade, and so the way that the boys' shower room was set up was like, you go into the shower and there's like this really like thin, flimsy piece of plastic that acts as the curtain, and it's just like a little cubicle with a shower in it, which is fine. But like the shower was so like it wasn't wide enough to cover up the entire length of the rectangle. So it's like you could still see into the shower while I was in there, and I was like, I don't want to be butt naked in front of all these dudes I don't know. And so it was only a week-long camp. It was like 5 days long. So I took a shower the first day, and I was like, that sucked. I can't do that again. So I was like, I just won't shower the rest of the week. I'm out in the wilderness.
No.
It won't be that bad. Well, me being a little dumb, like 10-year-old or whatever, I didn't think, like, you're going to be getting in a pond all week, and you're not going to take a shower. You're going to sleep in the same sheets every night. And to make matters worse, it was like the 3rd day there. We were on like a block schedule, and like we had a specific activity we had to go to like every time this bell rang and whatever, and so like it gets to be like right after breakfast, and I really have to pee, and the bathrooms are on the other side of the camp, so I like walk all the way over there, and then the bell rings, and I'm like, oh god, I gotta go. And I was like, well, I'll be fine, I can hold it. And that happened to me all day. I didn't pee from like the time I woke up until like probably 3:30 that day, and we were at this activity, and I'm just sitting there like dancing because I can't hold it anymore. And I go up to the counselor, one of my counselors, and I'm like, look, I need to go to the bathroom like right now. I'm so sorry. I know we're in the middle of something, but can I please go? And he was like, can you wait 5 minutes and everybody will go? And I was like, okay, I can wait. I couldn't wait. And my body just did it, and I like peed all over myself. And so like to that guy, it must have been so weird to be like, hey mister, I need to go to the bathroom, can you wait 5 minutes? Yeah, I can wait. 2 seconds goes by, I couldn't wait. And so I'm just standing there covered in it, and I still didn't shower for the rest of the week because I was so embarrassed by it. And so, like, I was,
like, jokingly going to call you Piss Boy, like, earlier in this story. But I was like, no, I'm sure Dylan didn't.
No. It was bad.
No.
And so I got this really bad rash, and it got, like, all infected and everything. It was bad. I had to go to, like, the doctor and, like, get special stuff for it. So... yeah, little message to all you kids out there. Don't swim in a pond and pee on yourself for a week and not take a shower. I was so embarrassed. Like, that embarrassment followed me for years. Because nobody knew, but I was just like, God, you're so dumb. Why did you do that? But I was just shy. I didn't want people to see my little dingus.
Were you wearing jeans, or were you wearing like gym shorts?
When the incident happened,
yeah,
I was wearing jeans.
Oh.
So it was like very obvious.
No.
And so here's the other part of that was,
what'd you do with your piss jeans?
I didn't wear them for the rest of the week.
They didn't have any laundry facility?
No.
Oh my god.
I had enough clothing. It was just.
Oh, they must have smelled so bad.
So bad.
So I was gonna share like. Because I have a PMSL story around that. I think around that age time. Mm-hmm. Like, can finish yours.
I was just gonna. The only other part of it was like, so I think I've told you this. I'm really bad at like keeping my own secrets. Anytime that I'm like, oh man, this is an embarrassing thing that like I'll have like a stain on my shirt and I don't know what it is. And I'm like, well, it's barely noticeable. and like, you need to look good for this interview, so don't say anything. And then I'll sit down and they'll be like, hey, Dylan, my name's Mike. How you doing? And I'll be like, I have a stain on my shirt. Like, I just can't help it. And so,
oh, thank God you're not a murderer.
Yeah, exactly.
I killed him. It was me. 37 times in the chest. This knife.
I needed the taste of human flesh in my mouth immediately.
I did it for the ritual of Darkon.
But anyway, so after I peed on myself, I'm like, we all go to the bathroom, and instead of me like going in with everybody and like trying to clean myself up, I'm like, well, I don't have to go anymore. So I just am standing outside the bathroom, and one of my friends walks out, and he looks at me, and he like doesn't even look down and see like the obvious like pee stain all over it. And I'm just like, I fell in the lake. It's like clearly centralized to like one area on my jeans.
Man,
I was so dumb.
it also
man.
sounds like the kids at the summer camp are a lot nicer than like the kids I knew growing up.
Well, I knew some of them, and so like the ones that I was friends with were the guys I knew, I guess.
I got in trouble in, I think, kindergarten because I watched the kid throw up in lunch, and I laughed. I pointed at him and laughed. Me and a friend of mine named Sean who just got up and like, ha, look at that.
Oh.
He ate beans. like he was,
Appropriate.
like super stupid. A story I had was I think like the last time I can remember like fully peeing myself was like during Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back. Like it was at the end when like Ash was dead.
Oh yeah.
And like Pikachu was crying, and I was like, I have to go, but there's no way I can run fast enough. And I was like, if I miss, what happens? People will make fun of me. So I just tried to hold it, and then I just started peeing, and I'm just like, yep. So I sat there and I watched it, and I think at the end I just turned my parents like, I peed myself, and they're just like, it's like, why didn't you go? And I was like, I couldn't miss this. Because like I got dunked on a lot because there was a lot of movies I just didn't watch growing up. Like I didn't see Ace Ventura until I was like in my 20s, like early 20s.
Yeah.
And like, so I was just like sick of that. And it's like, it's Pokemon. It's the most important thing as like a kid. And I wasn't going to be the one who's like, yeah, I didn't see when that happened because I also was like around a bunch of liars. So like, like I mean, for the most part, I always knew when they were making it up. I've always been kind of like good at spying, lying. And
right.
Of course, little kids are the worst at lying. But like, so I was like, I don't want to deal with people like, yeah. And then Ash turns into the golden bird from episode 1 and time travels, and that's what Ash sees. Like, no, I'm not gonna be swayed. Thankfully, didn't piss myself at any other Pokemon movies.
It just becomes a tradition. Like anytime that something bad's about to happen to Ash, you're like, oh no! just can't.
Curse you, Pavlov!
Oh, that would be horrible, man.
Yeah.
Oh God.
You're just watching like the Pokemon anime with like this stupid hot girl that's also in a nerdy stuff, and then like Ash,
like your dream girl,
yeah.
like she's everything you've ever wanted.
Yeah.
And she's like, I freaking adore video games. Like Pokemon's my favorite thing.
It's like I'm super into guys that look like they're skinny, but like sort of have a gut when their shirt's off, and also bald boys. Yeah. Like. It's like, oh yeah, man, I'm gonna lock this down. And then like out of the corner of your eyes, you're going out in for that makeout. You see like Ash trip and fall, and you're just like, oh no!
You just get up and run.
The lunch soda betrayed me. And she's just like, nope, I'm out.
Oh man, no, dude, a true girl.
And you just start screaming stuff like, I'm sorry. There's a I can explain.
Oh man, peeing as a reflex would be the worst thing in the world.
It's a war injury.
Oh man, I that's got to be like
No, pooping yourself is way worse.
So I have a pooping myself story from when I was younger. If you want to hear it,
Like how young are we talking about?
like early elementary school, but like out of diapers, like should have known better. It's not really all that interesting.
I'd say like when you're in double digits, that's when it starts to get like you should know.
So
No.
I pooped myself when I was a teenager. But so I think I may have told this story on DillyDally before because it's Emily's favorite story in the world.
Oh, the one where you poop yourself?
So it's not as bad as it probably sounds. Mm-hmm. And I think most people are like, Dylan, no, that's not a thing. But like, I don't know. I have hope that you'll kind of be on my side with this one. So we were on vacation. I don't know. I was a teenager, but I don't know. Probably like 13, 14. And so we're like at the beach all day and everything. And I didn't feel like I had to poop. I was just doing my thing or whatever. And so everybody was up at the beach and I was like, I'm going to go get in the ocean and just kind of chill in the waves. And so I'm out there and I guess like the gentle like wave motion of the ocean or whatever, it just like it coaxed it out of me, man. I just like 1 second I was fine and the next second there was poop in my shorts. And I was like, what the heck? Like it just
the scene if played a trick on me.
It's a Pavlovian response. But not so it gets worse, I guess. So
I've sold myself in Poseidon's domain.
Can you imagine? That's Odysseus's trial. He's just
oh no, it wasn't like blinding like Polyphemus. It wasn't like not like it wasn't like shirking his blessings while on the sea. It was like the one time he pooped himself like on the way to Troy. Like, oh.
So there's poop in my shorts, and I deal with it. I just kind of like let it out, and I was like, okay, well I'm gonna leave now, and so I go like to the bathroom and like make sure I'm okay, and then like later that day I got back in the ocean and it happened again. I was like, what's going on? Like I don't think I got in the ocean for like a couple of days. I was freaked out, but no, that Emily like will be on the floor laughing if she ever hears that story. It's weird, but like I mean I don't know, man. I just like I said, I felt like being out in the ocean and just kind of like relaxing, like just kind of coaxed it, you know. What do you do?
I think the closest I've come in recent memory. This might or might not count because I had food poisoning.
Oh, then that doesn't count.
I ran into my room and like I didn't come out unscathed, but like it wasn't like I'm locked in there with the monster, you know? Like it wasn't.
That's such a good way to put it because it's the same reaction of like, what do I do?
Yeah. You're just like, I can't escape. The damage has been done.
It's like clogging somebody's toilet when you're at a party, when you're just like, oh God, how do I deal with this? It's just a moment of panic.
I want to know, speaking of that, to continue this toilet talk, I want to know what goes through the mind of the guy who's just like, this toilet functions too well. I need to cease this. I need to ruin this for someone. Like there was my dad, when he would do these band practices, he would do them in like some warehouse that looked really awful. Like, I mean, I'm sure my memory has warped, but it looked like like the inside of the studios were fine, but like the outside was just a bench and like I remember a lot of like gray and stone columns, and it basically looked like, what if like the mines of Minas Tirith from Fellowship, but it was like for crack heads. Like it's just abandoned and like dirty concrete,
right.
and there's like no one there. Like you could clap and hear tons of echo,
right.
And so I went to use the bathroom, and there was like almost up to the bowl of toilet paper.
Oh God!
And
okay, now I know what you're talking about.
And then someone saw that and was still like, "Yep, this is where I'm gonna poop."
Mm-hmm.
And so there was stuff on top of that. And I tried flushing it, and I was just like, there's no way. And, like, even as a kid, the idea of, like, I mean, I know they say too many cooks spoil the broth, but, like adding my addendum to this story, like, was too gross.
Yeah.
And I just, like, found something else. Or I want to know, like, I don't want to be a fly in the wall, but I kind of do. Or, like, be in the headspace just for once of like someone that's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna poop in this urinal.
I've never experienced that, but I've heard stories.
You have
it's gross.
My neighborhood growing up had a community pool,
and
the bathrooms were nightmare zones that like people just trashed for no reason, and we didn't have like a dedicated staff that like upkept it. And there would just be like, the lights would be flickering and there'd be spiders everywhere. And it was like damp and cold. And then there's just a day where like I'm walking in and there's just 2 or 3 logs just sitting in the urinal.
Ugh.
And like, but imagine, like there's gotta be, like someone's gotta be getting off on doing that, right? Because that's like, there's a risk involved of like you getting caught.
Or worse, like what happened? Well, I guess they wouldn't care. I was gonna say, what if you miss? But like, I guess they don't care at that point.
But like, because if someone walks into a bathroom and sees you pants down, facing the other way, there's no talking your way. Like even if your speech is at 100,
right?
Like you can't. You're
like, not gonna draw.
You can't pass that check.
You're not gonna Jedi mind trick your way out of this one.
It's like, okay, pants are down. Maybe he's just one of those weirdos. No, you're facing the wrong way.
Right.
Like, oh God. I don't care if like you have an inner ear infection and you can't. Your balance is off. Like. Oh man.
The first time I ever they are, man. The first time I ever like heard the phrase like that's, or I guess maybe it's more like, I don't know what you'd call it, but like just mob mentality.
Yeah.
I was at like a middle school pep rally function thing, but like parents came or whatever. And I remember I was sitting with my dad, and my dad's like he's kind of a fly on the wall type of person. Like he just kind of sits in the background and he likes to just watch people be stupid and make fun of them kind of to himself or to whoever's sitting next to him. And so I remember like just sitting there and he's watching these people, and so naturally I'm like, oh, I'm going to be like my dad. I'm going to watch these people too. And we're just kind of making fun of people. And all these parents are doing like dumb stuff, like throwing trash on the ground, or like the assembly or whatever ends and they're all like rushing to get out. And I just remember looking at him and being like, why do people not realize that like we could just all get up and like walk out calmly, because like we're gonna get out at the same time. And he's like, it's called mob mentality. You get a bunch of people in the room together and just all sense goes away. And it's so easy to happen. You get 3 people in a room and they're gonna do something dumb.
The funny thing is like, I don't know, maybe it gets dunked on a lot, but there's actually a line I really like from Men in Black 1.
Yeah.
Where I think it's like in the context of Jay is asking Kay, like, why don't you tell people about this? And he goes, a person is smart, people are dumb. And I'm like,
that's true, man.
That's super good.
I've been around people who one-on-one, I can have like this really intellectual conversation with, and then I see them around their friends, and I'm like, you're stupid. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. People probably say the same thing about me, but I don't know. I guess it's just psychology.
Like, I feel like I do that, but I'm like aware that it's stupid.
Yeah,
I try not to go too far, because like, not to toot my own horn or whatever, but like because I had like a pretty big vocabulary growing up, and like I didn't really get into a lot of trouble. I think I got this rep as like the mature, smart one, and then a bit too late, I decided no, it's time to act immature and dumb and just like experience life. But it's like, oh, you're 22 and trying to do this. Like, I was like 18 and I lost part of my bangs in a rock, paper, scissors contest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so me and my friends just started playing rock, paper, scissors. And, again, I was kind of the responsible one of the group. And we were just playing over, like, trash, like trinkets, like stuff you could have bought for $1 or $2. Like, we literally went to our friends' cars and we're like, open up your trunk. What do you have in here? All right, I'll rock, paper, scissors for you then. I was like, I don't have anything. What would you guys want? And they're like, how about your bangs? And I was like, no, not all my bangs, half. And I was confident in my rock, paper, scissors skills, of which I remain totally defeated always.
Your rock, paper, scissors skills, you mean your 1 out of 3 chance that you choose the right
Well,
thing?
first off, like anything, humans have taken rock, paper, scissors to where it is a sport. I've looked up, there are names for actual strategies and sequences.
That's intense. That's ridiculous.
So, yeah, they went in the house and got some scissors, and I lost, and they didn't think I'd do it. So, like, they gave me the scissors, and I just did a straight cut across my bangs. They're like, Stevie, I didn't think you could do it. Oh, my God. And then I parted my hair the opposite way, and it totally covered it.
Yeah. And
then my girlfriend found out, and she was furious, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
Because she was like, why'd you part your hair differently? It's like, no reason. And she started like pulling this. She's like, what did you do? What did you do? And I cackled. It was so funny.
That's really good.
To me, cause
you and cutting off your hair, man. It's a running theme.
I guess. I don't know. Every time someone's told me not to cut my hair, and I've done it anyway because I wanted to, and then I get a lot of people going, "Oh, it looks way better without it." Yeah. I haven't had anyone say I look better bald, but I haven't had anyone say I look worse bald.
Yeah, I think the way that Emily said it to you the other day is like definitely the way I feel. Like at first I was kind of like, whoa, that's jarring. Like that's much different than I thought it was gonna be. And like now that that's just your look, I'm like, oh, he pulls it off. And it's like I think I like both of the looks equally. Like when you had a full head of hair and without it.
I'm very curious that like, other than like customers. It's like, what's going to happen? Well, actually, no, we kind of have that. Like, we got a new coworker, and I was like, this is the first person I've met that didn't know me before I was bald.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like, it's just, there's going to be, like, showing people my driver's license is going to be even more staggering now.
Oh, yeah.
You
need to go up to that person and just be like, you're my zenith. Just only call them zenith.
Yeah, it's like the AH era after hair.
Yeah.
Or no, it would be after bald, because before bald and after bald.
BB and B, what AB?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
BB and AB.
BB, that's Bean Boys.
BB8, Bean Boys 8. This is the second one though. Oh.
I want to call out somebody.
Yeah.
Whoever Word Nasilu it's Wilson backwards.
Yeah.
Whoever that person is, they commented on one of my videos and said, "Dylan, why are you wasting your time doing this? You need to go practice. That's why you're bad at trumpet." And they said something or like that. And then on the BBP, they were like, "Wow, guys, you should be practicing trumpet instead of doing this thing. Both of you are the worst grad trumpet player in the area."
Oh, I know who that is.
You do? Who is it?
I think I know who that is.
Can you tell me, or is it? I can bleep it if I need to.
I think it's Beans.
Really? You think so?
I think it's Beans. Or Chris.
It's not Chris, because I asked him directly.
I think it's
Beans.
What are you doing out there?
Beans.
That's right. I'm calling you out. Dude, that'd be so funny if that is him. I can't believe.
Dude, I absolutely think it's him. The person we're talking about has a doctorate.
Yeah.
It's like in his like close to his 50s.
Okay,
and
hold
has
on.
A child.
Okay, so I'm gonna bleep out his name just because, but like, so if you are a doctorate, or if you have a doctorate and you're watching this video and you taught at our school this last semester, if this is you, I want you to leave a comment that says, "Rainbow fish are delicious, but only when you suck out the juices." Signed, P. Dunahan.
P. Dunahan.
Yeah, for prickly Dunahan.
But yeah, that's got to be him. Cause who else?
I don't know, man.
Who else?
Oh, I wonder if it's Steven. It could be him.
No, it's not alien enough.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, whoever you are, Word Winslow, whatever your name is, it's not very nice. Actually, their first comment they left actually got marked as spam by YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, so I just didn't mess with it. But yeah.
If it was Stevie, but methinks perhaps thou wast practice more. Quote the Raven, play some more.
Nevermore you shall retain your evermore. I don't know.
Guys, have you read The Fountainhead?
We can't make fun of Steven on the podcast.
We can make fun of whoever we want because it's our show.
It's true. Steven, I love you, buddy.
And just for the record, that's not me. It's a separate person we know named
Yeah,
Stephen.
yeah. We know a lot of Stevens.
There's too many.
Yeah.
My old roommate posted that he got a bird stocking for their cockatiel, and she hates it.
Oh, no.
He's like, yes, we bought the bird stocking. Yes, she hates it.
Like,
and she's just like she seems really upset.
She looks so annoyed.
I cannot wait to meet that bird.
Yeah.
I'm curious if that's gonna like. I'm really excited for like my range of pets that I might want in the future to be expanded.
Yeah.
Because before I was like, no, only dogs, and I'm like, maybe a cat, and I'm like, maybe a bird.
Dude, I'm freaking. I think I've told you this. I'm way into finnick foxes. Finnick foxes are so cool,
they're
but
so cute.
You can't. There's so much work as a pet, so it's never gonna happen. But
the only thing I've always prioritized over dogs is I want something that if someone breaks in, it can defend itself.
That's fair.
But to let's be honest, either a lot of dogs like just don't do anything because they're super friendly to guests, like most pit bulls, or person has some sort of weapon that will like it's not gonna matter because like I was thinking about getting like a little beagle, like a little small beagle.
Beagles are cute.
And like, have you ever seen John Wick? Like,
I haven't, but I know it's all about this dog.
Yeah, it's a beagle puppy that gets its neck stomped on in like the first like 10-20 minutes.
Oh man.
Like, it's the most effective, like, I am totally on board with the protagonist's revenge.
That's good.
Like, ever for me.
I really need to watch those movies, man.
I have not seen 2, so after you watch 1, we can go through 2 and 3.
Yeah, sure.
Because, like, apparently they're all good. Like, they get a little cartoony in terms of, like, the main antagonist of the second one is, like, another John Wick, and they're doing, like, not another John Wick, but like
Mhm.
assassin of that tier.
Right.
And they're doing like crazy stuff. Like they're taking pot shots at each other through a crowd, but they're not hitting anyone.
Oh yeah.
Like stuff like that. But that seems fun.
Yeah,
Um,
I've heard they're kind of just like over the top action movies that aren't supposed to be funny, but like they kind of can be.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's to me, it feels like the renaissance of like the 80s action movie,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Oh, so this is changing things up a little bit, but I promised I would talk about it. Can we talk about Sword and Shield just briefly?
Sure.
So I just beat it last week.
Mm-hmm. How many hours did you put into it, Dino?
Oh man.
Like upwards of 20?
Yeah, probably around 20.
Okay.
I goofed around a lot. I typically do when I play Pokemon games. I like to just kind of explore, which actually leads me to my first point. That game is empty as crap. There is nothing in that game, and it really upsets me because like I complained to you like the day the game came out. I was seeing people on Reddit complaining about post game, and I was like, "How did you beat the game in one day? You didn't even explore the world." And then when I started playing it and I was exploring the world, like aside from the wild area, there's like all the towns are just empty. Like there's nothing special about any of the towns, and it's really upsetting. And I was like, "Oh, no wonder people like blasted through this game."
No.
And on top of that, I won't give any specific details in case people do. So the positives of the game, I think, contrary to what some like pretty annoying people are saying, I think the game looks fantastic. I think most of the Pokemon, like the new additions and everything, look great, and I love all of them. Like I do what a lot of people do, and whenever I play a new gen, I only use new gen pokes, and I freaking adored all of them. I actually created a few different teams because I liked so many of them, which I never do. So I think they did a really good job in that. I think that the big stadiums, they look good. They're just kind of like, they're kind of boring. But like, I don't know. The game feels fun and it feels good, but it's just, like I said, it's really empty. I feel like Dynamaxing is really stupid, which was disappointing because it looked really fun when I first saw it. But it's, I don't know, it's kind of boring. But the only thing I don't like about the story is they do a lot of like a big thing is happening and it's like, oh no, we need to go figure out like why did that earthquake happen? And then like the characters that are like the champion and the like soon to be professor or whatever, she's like they're both like, oh no, you don't worry about it, we'll take care of it, since like I'm the champion, I'll go deal with it, you just continue the gym challenge. And I didn't even think anything about it until my buddy Tom was like, yeah, they didn't let you be a part of the story. And I was like, oh shoot, you're totally right, that's dumb. I didn't get to save the day, really. You know, I mean, you eventually do, like you do in all the games, but you don't get to see the build up to that.
So I'm of two minds about that, because like on one hand that does suck from like a video game perspective. On the other hand, it was always weird to me how like I want to say it's gold or maybe gold and silver or like ruby, sapphire that do this, where like the champion is actively around and like he will show up like right at the end of when the bad guys are like fighting you, and they'll be like, oh, let's run away. And to me that like the idea of like, yeah, there's a big crisis, Pokemon champions gotta go. Like that makes more sense. But you're right, like the fact that you don't even tag along in some way, shape, or form and like slowly become like a bigger part of the solution or a bigger asset into solving the problem is kind of frustrating. But at the same time, like I don't know if that's like a good subversion or not. That's
I'll say this, it is different. I just didn't really like I said, I didn't initially think about it, but when it was pointed out to me, I was like, that's what it was. Like, it just felt kind of strange. I will say, I did really enjoy like most of the characters. A lot of the times, like the rivals and everything are pretty boring. But I've heard a lot of people say they think Hop is really stupid, but I think Hop is actually really cool. He goes through like this really big arc of like he starts off really confident, and you keep beating him, and he's like, "Why can't I beat you? I'm trying just as hard as you are." And he gets like really down on himself, and he like changes up his team for every single battle. And I'm like, that's awesome. That's actually actual character development. Like, he's a real character, not just like, oh, you got to battle a trainer now. Like, here's one of them. So I really enjoyed Hop, even though he could be a little cringy at times. He's much better than Hal or whatever. Hal was so annoying from Sun and Moon.
Oh,
is he in Ultra Sun? I know that's what he played.
Is. He honestly, like, visually, he reminds me a lot of Hop.
Oh, they look almost the same.
Yeah. Yeah, Hop, like, I'm trying to think, like, I could have sworn Hop had like one moment of like, oh, this character's decent, but no, he's pretty static.
Oh, you mean
like,
Hal?
Yeah, Hal, sorry.
No, you're fine.
Hal is just pretty static, and like that's why what's his name? Lucamine's son.
Oh, dang it. What's his name?
He was much more interesting.
Yeah, he wasn't my favorite, but he was better than Hal for sure.
Yeah.
Gladian, that's his name.
I'm trying to think of your rival. Like, his whole gimmick was like, oh, I'm a really hard worker. Like, every time you'd see him, he'd be like, I've been working so hard, fingers to the bone. And similar to like Hop, he has this moment of like, no matter how hard I work, you're always a step ahead of me. And I think like the professor just like, it's because he believes in this Pokemon.
Right.
And it's like, what?
Yeah.
No, this is a horrible lesson.
No, Sword and Shield don't do that. As a matter of fact, like, all the people, like, I guess spoilers, but like as Hop is like going through all that or whatever, his older brother, the champion, is just like, yeah, he's feeling really down, but he's gonna come around because he's working hard enough that it's gonna pay off eventually. And like everybody's just like, you got this, Hop, keep working at it. And I'm like, yeah, that's cool, I'm into that. Like, that's a positive, like, real message of like, yeah, sometimes you work your butt off and it doesn't like pay off the way you want it to. Yeah. Sorry. So I don't know.
It also seems to me like and correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like there's more than usual interaction with the gym leaders. A little bit like post match maybe. I don't know.
Not really. They kind of just have like one little set of dialogue with you afterwards. You get to meet all of the gym leaders before the challenge starts, which was kind of cool. They do like this kind of like superhero montage where they all walk out and they like introduce who they are and say what their like specialty is. And that was kind of cool because it goes with that motif of like, you're entering this challenge and here are your opponents. Like, I was pretty into that. But I mean, that's about it. It wasn't near as much as like in Sun and Moon, where like sometimes they would just show up and be like, hey, how's it going? You'd be like, oh, I battled you like 20 hours ago. Yeah. So that's kind of my thoughts, my very abridged thoughts, I guess. Tell me your favorite Christmas moment. Because those jingle bells are right around the corner.
I don't really have one. There was a couple Christmases in a row where like I would get a console, I think.
Yeah. And
I remember freaking out super hard. My parents have always been really good about faking me out. So like when I got my PS2, they just gave me like the 2 games I asked for. Yeah. They're just like, sorry, we weren't able to afford the console. And they just had it hiding like unwrapped behind the couch or whatever.
Yeah.
I think the first one I really remember was the one I got my Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
when I was like 5. That was like my first actual like I had a Game Boy, but that was really my dad's that I ended up just playing so much because of Pokemon that it just sort of became mine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a computer, but like this was like the first one where it's like I wanted it because I wanted to play Star Fox and I wanted to play Banjo-Kazooie. Like, so that was good because other than that, like, I don't know, like it's as the years have gone on and like, you know, occasionally money's been a little bit tighter in other years, especially
Right.
since I was like little. Like it's just been kind of nice to go home and see like friends and family and stuff like that. So I don't really have like a Christmas memory that stands out, I guess.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Yeah.
How about you?
I have like, I have a bad moment that stands out. I'm trying to think of, like, my favorite thing that we do at Christmas is we always kind of the tradition that we have is we wake up and we do a devotion and then we open presents and then we go do stockings.
Mm-hmm.
And then after we're done with stockings, we like chill for a minute and then we put all of our stuff up in our rooms and then we all like go cook breakfast together and we have like pancakes or waffles or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And we make like this real big breakfast. And we usually end up eating around like 10 or 11, but we just like sit down and we eat on like nice china or whatever. It's the only time we ever use it, and we just talk for like an hour and a half while we eat breakfast, and then afterwards we all clean up together and then we go do our own thing, like playing with our new stuff or whatever. And like I really enjoy like Christmas breakfast. It's my favorite thing. So but like the bad memory I have is one year my brother cut his arm open with a pocket knife trying to open up a toy, and so we spent Christmas morning in the ER.
Oh jeez.
But like, dude, it was terrifying. He was like 4 years old.
Why do you have a pocket knife?
It's like my dad just had a bad like lapse of judgment, and he got us both pocket knives for Christmas, and he's like, "Oh, I'll teach him how to use it. It'll be okay." And like when I was that old, I was like, "Yeah," like I was like 7 then.
I feel like
"That's
dads have more lapses of judgment
fine."
than moms do in terms of that stuff.
Possibly. He felt really bad about it. And like he's still like, if he hears this, he'll probably feel bad about it, even though he shouldn't. Like it was so long ago. But like yeah, I just remember we were all hanging out, and Dallas went to his room, and I was talking to my parents, and then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go grab something," and I like started walking down the hallway, and Dallas just opens the door, and like he has his arm held out, and he has like tears in his eyes, and he's like, "Dylan," and I was like, "What's wrong?" And I looked down, and his arm's just purple.
Oof.
Like there was so much blood coming out, it was purple.
Oof.
And I was like, I didn't even know what I was looking at for a second. I was just like, what does he have on his arm? And then I realized what it was, and I like almost passed out because I was so freaked out. Like I like grabbed the wall, and I was like, "Mom!" and I was just like ran and got my parents. It was freaky, but he's
words "naughty" are just carved into his.
Yeah.
Did you feed your son coal?
I recently like
It was the Krampus.
the Chris made me do it.
Oh, he got cringled.
I just learned yesterday that I think it's in the Marvel universe Santa Claus is like a superhero or
Well,
something.
I think Marvel and DC have like actual Santa.
Yeah.
But like, okay, so do you know what?
I know it was DC because it was
yeah.
Superman, but anyway.
Yeah, it was like every year he fights through apocalypse
Yeah.
to give Darkseid a lump of coal.
Exactly. I saw a comic strip that had that.
Oh,
in
that
there.
was so good.
It was really funny. I was like, man, I
Yeah.
want to read that one. I don't
Oh, yeah,
remember this.
I'm sure you saw it in the same thread because it was like Clark talking to his mom and dad.
Yeah.
And it was just like you mean Santa brought it?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, oh, Clark still believes that. It's like, no, Santa actually exists in the DC universe.
It's so funny.
It's also like it was also a cool moment, and why I think like overall Bruce Timm has such a good grasp on like how to write the DC characters. Because like that moment's such a human moment where they're just like, oh yeah, we had to line the presents with lead.
Yeah.
Because Clark would use his supervision to peek through his presents. Like, Goody Two Shoes Superman, like not like just succumbing to a child's weakness, you know? That's cool. I like that.
I do too, man.
I really dislike when people are like, Superman's so boring. I hate Superman. I heard people saying that about Captain America too.
I gotta confess. I've
Oh
said
yeah,
that
I
about
forgot
both.
you said.
I don't remember saying this, but it does sound like something I'd say. One of my friend's favorite superheroes is Captain America,
Yeah.
and one time he was saying that he didn't like the Dark Knight trilogy. I was like, how? They're the best superhero movies ever. And he's like, no, I like Captain America. And I said, well, I guess they're okay. And he goes, you once told me Captain America is a glorified frisbee thrower. And I was like,
God.
oh no, I guess I did say that.
What's wrong with like heroes that are just like the pinnacle of moral uprightness? Like, I get that like Batman's super interesting because there's this moral, and he's probably the most interesting superhero to write for because there's like that moral ambiguity of if he's insane or not, or yada yada yada. Is his obsession with justice unhealthy? All that, but like, why can't people just look at a story of like this person who's this ideal of like morality and uprightness and justice and just being a kind person and go, yeah, that feels good. The good guy is beating the bad guy. Like, so, oh, but he's so strong, he's so overpowered. In some stories, yeah, but he's only as strong as he needs to be. Like, obviously comic book writers know that he's like not that he could solve the problem if he was like Silver Age Superman once chained 9 planets together and just carried them.
Oh my god.
Like just pulled them in space. Like nothing. And like, but he also has besides kryptonite, he's also weak to magic, and there's people that are as strong as him. Like Darkseid might actually be stronger than him.
Really?
Yeah, like there's this really great comic panel where like I don't remember what it's from exactly, but Superman is talking to like a security guard and another superhero, and the security guard goes, man, you know, you with you two around, you know, we'll all be safe tonight. And he goes, you mean with the 3 of us around?
Oh wow.
Like,
that's cool.
Because he doesn't view like that security guard as anything lower than him.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There's
Okay. You've sold me.
yeah.
I don't know much about Superman. I've seen Man of Steel and that was it.
Although there's a couple stories I would recommend. All-Star Superman is like one that everyone recommends if like you don't know why people love Superman. Here's a story. The other one is called Superman Red Sun. And the concept behind it is, what if Clark Kent or Kal-El, whatever you want to call him, landed in Russia, like Soviet Russia,
I've
instead
heard
of
of
America?
that. Yeah.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Because you just see these really weird, slight offshoots of like classic DC heroes.
Really?
Yeah, like I think the only one I'll talk about is like Green Lantern is like this not crazed, but like more gung-ho military fighter pilot that commands a battalion of other just regular dudes with Green Lantern rings.
Oh,
and
that's
he, and,
cool.
and he commands them like a fighter squadron. And they're like developed as an anti-Superman weapon from the United States. It's super cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
I wish comics were more accessible.
Yeah,
There's
me
so many
too,
comics
man.
I want to read.
No,
But-
I'm totally with you. Like, I've gone and like looked in comic stores and just been like, oh man, I'm just gonna buy a stack of comics and go read them.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, where do I start? And then I look it up, and it's like, well, if you want to know, if you can start here, but then you need to read this, and then you need to read this, and I just get so overwhelmed. I'm like, I can't drop $2,000 on comic books.
Like, man, it like something that I overheard during like podcast I was listening to was just like the reason why this person, and I guess by extension me, it's so much easier for me to get into like a manga series. It's like, oh, I want to read Naruto. Where do I start? Chapter 1.
Right.
That's all you have to do. Like, whereas, oh, I want to read Superman. Well, you could check out All-Star Superman. You could check out this run. And on one hand, it's good that, like, you can keep trying new things with these stories. On the other hand, it's like, you know, when you hear about, like, the fourth or third or fourth reboot that DC's done with their continuity in the span of, like, a couple years, it's like, why does anyone need to be invested in this universe if you're just going to reset everything a couple years later because you don't want to get bogged down in continuity? That's why I think the movies are so popular, is because the movies I don't think are going to really reset any continuity, not for a long while. And they borrow from a lot of like the really famous stories and the really famous runs, so it's kind of like you're getting this really and sometimes they're a lot different. Like Civil War is pretty different.
Oh, really?
From the comics adaptation, but it's still good. And it kind of still has like the core like conflict of Civil War, I guess. Like as someone who read the I think only, besides the Sonic comics I used to have, I own only like one actual comic, I think, and it's the first issue of Infinity Gauntlet. And I've since like read all of it, and it's super good. It's really different from what the movies did, but like both are good. Like, I mean, because there's just a lot of characters that they don't have access to, and like it would be dumb to introduce them in the more kind of grounded MCU. Like when Thanos at like, because Thanos' plot in the original Infinity Gauntlet is he's like, I'm in love with death. Like literally the personification of death.
Told me about this.
I will kill half the universe. But if you do that today, he just looks like a madman, like a generic doomsday villain. And like the final battle is like this crazy thing where all like the big cosmic entities from the like chaos and order and like the Eternals and stuff like that are like
sloth
all,
and envy
are all like fighting him, and like Spider-Man and Captain America. Spider-Man gets wrecked in that storyline.
He says, Mr. Iron Man, I feel bad.
Thanos like when Death doesn't like love him back, Thanos just creates a female version of himself. And it fights Spider-Man and just takes a big old rock and just right on the head.
It's like Thanos, but wearing ruby red lipstick.
It's close. It's like, it's not as like hideous as you would think, but it's still like, yeah, it's just Thanos with boobs and long hair.
Here's a fan theory for you. Thanos is just Grape Ape evolved.
Dude, have I talked to you about how much I hate Grape Ape?
No.
I hate Grape Ape. He's
But he goes around and he says, Grape Ape.
No, he destroys things. He doesn't care.
It's funny.
No, it's not.
He goes Grape Ape and then he does it.
And he has a sociopath little dog that like, hey, come on, Grape Ape. Like,
and then
it just
Dastardly
spurs
dog goes.
Dude, like, out of all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, like even the dumb ones that are just copies of other Hanna-Barbera cartoons, I legit have like I think Grape Ape is a bad like person morally, I just like the first episode.
He's an ape.
Like
he
someone talk.
morality.
Oh, okay. You want to talk about? There's an episode where the dog is just like, "Hey, Grape Ape, we're gonna go to Hawaii, start a new show." Grape Ape just gets on top of a plane and almost crushes the people in it because he's too heavy. So then they just walk because nothing can stop Great Ape. He can't be bound. He's a monster.
Yeah.
He's a force of nature. He goes to this island where they worship a volcano. He plugs it up and then becomes the new god of the island.
And he goes Grape Ape, and it's the funniest thing ever.
And then in his stupid green shirt and his stupid baseball cap, lives off the riches and the adoration of these people until the mountain almost erupts. And I'm like, we got to get out of here, Grape Ape. And he takes the rock off the volcano, and the pressure had been building, so it explodes, and they just leave those citizens to their fate. And the dog's like, oh, that wasn't Hawaii. Wacky. And Grape Ape's like, Grape Ape, Grape Ape.
And then he goes,
God. I mean, I have problems with Hanna-Barbera as a cartoonist. Like, Scooby-Doo, great. You did really good. Flintstones, Jetsons.
What?
Well, I don't know.
Flintstones rules.
Okay, Flintstones and
He's
Jetsons
like,
are fine. But then you have, like, Meet the Romans.
I never watched it.
Yeah. They have a pet lion. And the theme song goes, when in Rome we do like the Romans do, we play like the Romans do together. Like,
yeah.
And it's super dumb. And then they have a show called The Huddles. I went down a rabbit hole of, I found a YouTube playlist that was just like 1970s cartoon intros, and I watched all of them. And some of them are some bangers, but I started to remember a lot of stuff I watched on Boomerang that was super dumb, like The Huddles, which is two dudes that just play football. And they have a neighbor who's like, I think supposed to be cartoonishly gay.
Yeah.
Or like, and he's just a
funny.
Well, he's just like, oh well, you know.
Oh, that voice.
Those men are savages.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And he has a cat. Like the theme song,
the epitome of homosexuality.
Well, I think back in the 60s or 70s, like, you know, like sitcom, like, because he never like I don't think he makes a move on either of like the two wives, who are also drawn like the exact same, just like every other freaking Hanna-Barbera thing.
Right.
There's Funky Phantom, which is a remake.
Danny Phantom?
No, I wish. So that's a ripoff of Scooby-Doo, which is like, you're solving mysteries with an actual ghost. Don't you want to? And also, I forgot which actor it is, but like the ghost talks like this. Heavens to Murgatroyd.
Oh
like,
my gosh, that sounds so familiar.
Then there's Dune Buggy, with the talking Dune Buggy. Then there's Jabberjaw, which is the shark that talks like Curly.
You know so many of these cartoons.
Then there's another one that I can't remember the name of because it's so generic, and the only thing that stands it out is that there's another talking dog in it, but it's green and it has a beanie. Like, it's like something in the Ghoul Crew or whatever. It's so like bottom tier.
It's not like the Scooby-Doo where they have the ghoul kids, is it?
No. That's like, I think, an old movie.
They should make a sequel to Grape Ape called Green Grape Ape. And he just goes, Green Ape.
Also, there was a Hanna-Barbera show that they were like, well, we want to create a, because they created a show of like Bam Bam. I forgot what the daughter's names.
Pebbles.
Growing up. They're like, well, we want to do that with Elroy.
Yeah. Elroy.
With Elroy from the Jetsons. And they were just like, no, we don't want that. It's like, okay, well, here's our sitcom called The Astros. And it's totally not using the same backgrounds as the Jetsons or the sound effects or the ship designs. And these characters totally don't look like just grown-up versions of Judy and Elroy.
The Jetsons had that one sound effect whenever the UFOs would travel, and it'd be like...
Yeah.
Okay, that like just popped up in my head, and I couldn't remember if that was them or if that was the Martian dude. Do you know what I'm talking about?
There's so many shows on this Wikipedia list,
Mm.
and like I forgot he did Johnny Quest.
And McFarlane worked on all of them.
Sinbad Jr. and his Magic Belt.
What?
Don't know. Let's see. Frankenstein Jr. and the Impossibles.
That
God,
sounds
they made
awesome.
so much.
That sounds great.
Space Cadets, Abbott and Costello cartoon,
Abbott and
Herculoids.
Costello on a
Oh God,
cartoon?
they made Shazam. I forgot about
Oh, I
Shazam.
remember that one.
Oh, Shazam was awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember anything about it. I
Well,
just remember
a lot of the things that were awful about some of these was just the fact that the show's animation budget seemed to be like $5. Wacky Races was okay.
I liked Wacky Races. I watched that one pretty regularly, actually.
Okay. Oh God, I remember watching the Harlem Globetrotters, where
Oh yeah.
the Harlem Globetrotters had superpowers.
Yeah. And it'd go.
Where's Huddles? Help! It's the Hair Bear Bunch, Funky Phantom, the Amazing Chan and the Chan Clan.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that. That was
Samurai Jack.
that was not good. The Roman Holidays. That's what it was.
Oh my
not
God.
Meet the Romans. I wonder if Josie and the Pussycats counts as a Goober and the Ghost Chasers.
That sounds great. You're acting like all of these are bad, but I just want to watch all of them.
Inch High Private Eye, Hong Kong Phooey.
Hong Kong Phooey, I know that show.
It
goes Hong Kong Phooey.
Wheelie and the Chopper Bunch. Some of these only had like 13 to 16 episodes.
Yeah.
They did not last more than one season.
Dude, it's all about quantity. You throw 10 darts at the board, one of them's going to hit and stick in the bullseye, you know what I mean?
What's the difference between Flintstones and Fred Flintstone and Friends?
Oh,
wait, hold on. Oh, it's just literally like a rerun of other shows repackaged as a variety hour.
yeah, I was going to say, I think that I remember. Yeah, I totally remember watching that because what they would do is like, that would come on and I'd be like, oh, the Flintstones. And like me and my brother and sister would be like, yay, the Flintstones. And then they'd ride their car to the movie theater and then
Yogi
Wacky Races
Space
would come
Race.
on. Yeah, that's probably just Wacky Races, but with Yogi Bear.
Oh, why?
And he goes, hey, boo boo. And then it goes.
They also made a Godzilla cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird.
It was probably delicious.
Okay, so hold on. They had a regular Harlem Globetrotter show, and then they had a Super Harlem Globe. That was the one I watched.
Yeah.
The Super Harlem Globetrotters. We could. Yeah, I'm not gonna go down all of these because people are eventually gonna be bored.
Just to S. Just A through S.
Come on. There's too many.
That's
Like
good.
when I mean, like, kudos to them. They probably made a megaton of dollars, and like Scooby-Doo's still going on.
Yeah.
Like there's even still like Jetsons movies being made.
What? Really?
There was a Jetson movie in 2008 where they hold a wrestling competition, and Big Show is like frozen from the ice.
Heck yeah.
And it's voiced by Big Show.
Heck yeah.
And they also have Stone Cold Steve Austin. And
Heck yeah.
And it is literally labeled as like either an association with WWE, because if you're super deep into wrestling and WWE, you're probably going to buy anything with WWE.
Mm-hmm.
I used to watch a lot of wrestling back in the day. So like I miss wrestling, but like I also apparently found out that like the era we grew up in was called the Attitude Era, and it was apparently like the best era of professional wrestling.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've heard. I only got into it briefly. I played SmackDown versus Raw 2006 for like a
Mhm.
month straight, and I was way into it, and that was about it.
One of my friends keeps buying all the new wrestling games, and they're all terrible.
Yeah.
And they're all like glitzy pieces of crap.
Yeah. I just
And like every time he just like, so W2K is on sale. It's like, Jared, don't. Why do you keep doing this? And he's like, I don't know.
Yeah. I didn't. The only reason that like me and my friends played that game was because we were like, oh, this is a good break from like Modern Warfare 2. Like, we'll play this dumb wrestling game and like just see who can get the dumbest weapons from under the stage. Like we'd be walking around with a chair and a hammer and just like trying to beat the crap out of each other and then get disqualified and be like, ha! It was fun. And then we'd like, there was an option where you could go like wrestle behind the building, and so there wasn't a ref, and you could just do whatever to each other, and those matches would last forever because it was just until you killed the other person.
Remember the era of backyard wrestling?
Wait, like in real life?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, really?
I don't know what that is.
So they did at like, this is kind of around like peak wrestling, or at least when I watched it. And I would like pretend wrestle with my friends. Like we'd jump off couches and drop kick each other.
Right.
Like just kid stuff. We're not strong enough to really hurt each other. Well, except when my friend's house was like really weirdly specific because it had like this shelf that was super high up, or at least it seemed like that at the time, that like there was no way to get up to it, or like why would that shelf be there?
Right.
So they like found a way to climb up by like just kind of Spider-Maning.
Oh my god.
And like spreading out and like climb up there and try and jump on each other.
Wow.
And I'm just like, this is so dangerous. But backyard wrestling became like an epidemic that they did on the news, where like people, mostly people that like were from like lower income and were white,
yeah.
who were really into wrestling, would make a makeshift ring in their backyard and like do wrestling stunts.
Wow.
And hit themselves with things like jump and crash into tables that weren't prepped because they're not professionals.
Oh my god.
And like, or they would get hit by what are they called? The light tubes.
Oh, like I think they're just called tube lights.
No, there's
Like the ones that shatter really easily. Yeah.
But like those still hurt to get hit by.
Yeah. God, what are they called? It starts with an F, I think.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about. Let us know.
I don't think it's fluorescent.
No. Fluorescent is just like a type of like. It's a
Yeah.
type of light, not a type of light bulb. Not floodlights either.
No. Yeah, so that became like an epidemic, and there's even a couple of video games about it. No, actually, no, it is fluorescent light tubes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
God,
that's so dangerous.
Yeah, and like you'd see like this, not in shape dude who's like kind of white trash.
Yeah.
Like just with his shirt off, and he's bleeding profusely from his back because he got slammed into like a stack of fluorescent light tubes. And so like it was the same thing with like when Jackass became a thing. Like where people were hurting themselves pretty bad, like trying to imitate stunts, because of that show. So I don't know.
And this just all ties back into that thing we said earlier of like a person is smart but people are dumb.
Yeah.
Like don't do the things you see in movies and on TV because it's not real. You're gonna get hurt. You're gonna hurt someone else. You're gonna get arrested.
Yeah, of course what you see on TV isn't real, Dylan. That's why they call it fake news.
Ooh.
No.
Let's talk about politics.
No.
Let's
No, they were gonna laugh at you.
Oh, I want to talk about the Donald Trump impeachment.
No. I want to talk about James and the Giant Peach.
Dude, I freaking love James and the Giant
It's on
Peach.
Disney Plus.
I know. I'm gonna watch it. I think I have it on VHS. Like, still, I adore that movie. Do we have any sponsors that we need to thank this week, Stevie?
Not this week.
Not the.
I'm too tired to read sponsors.
Yeah. They all got pretty mad when your uncle like destroyed all of their merch.
Yeah, we're having our manager kind of call around, shop us around, see if we can get anything.
If you've got any connections to people like Squarespace or Dollar Shave Club, I'm sure we could pretend to be into those things.
Well,
I know what you're about to say. I'm into Dollar Shave Club.
Yeah, I was gonna say we both use Dollar Shave Club.
Dollar Shave Club, if you guys want to sponsor us, like, I know I've only got 68 subscribers, but
I literally use your guys' razor every morning to keep my head bald.
Yeah.
It's been working super well, actually.
Yeah, I frequently shave the sides of my face with it. And it's some good stuff.
Give me some of that pre-scrub.
Well, put some of that dew on me, baby.
Oh, post-shave dew.
I want to smell minty.
You just like open up a can of Mountain Dew and pour it on your head. Oh, I gotta kill the hair follicles with this righteous taste.
Dylan, why is your face vibrating? Because it's got the electric taste of Mountain Dew. Why is there
chili so spicy I had to drink a whole 2-liter Mountain Dew.
The only way to wash down this pack of hot Cheetos is
I've got one more story.
Yeah, close this out.
We're talking about PepsiCo products.
Yeah.
Tom Segura has that Your Mom's House podcast,
and
they had a video. It's like the second time they've said or like showed me something that I've like whole body cringed and like had to kind of tap out. And it was a guy in a truck, and I don't want to call him this, but let's just say he gives Southern people a bad name because he's just a good old boy.
Yeah.
And he's got his dog in the back, and he's in his truck, and he's got this knife that's chipped at the end. And he's like, going to dances, you got a bad tooth, and it's too expensive to get out. I'm going to show you how to get out a bad tooth by yourself.
No.
So you take a knife, there might be some dog food on it. Maybe wipe it off or wash it in some Pepsi. And, it's missing there's a little hook on it. And he just puts it in the back.
No.
And you just hear him go, got it. And you hear like some kind of like crunch.
Oh man.
And then he just pulls it out, and there's like blood starting to come. And like he's like, I'm parked illegally where I'm at. And while he's doing that, his dog is like trying to lick his face. He's like, go away from me. And it's just like, why would you do this?
Oh man.
His teeth didn't even look that bad.
Yeah.
But he didn't go for like a smaller one or a canine. No, he went for one of the back molars.
Why? What an idiot, man.
Because
people from the South are not like that.
No.
There are some,
yeah,
but it's only in like very like isolated areas.
But
like,
boy, when you find one, I feel like there is like a lot of in between, but like in my experience, it's like you see a totally normal person, or it's 0 to 60.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of 30s in between, but like, man, when you find someone that goes full,
yeah,
it's like, boy, you are a special creature in this world. Like, I used to do impressions of people like you as a joke, and then you're real.
Yeah, I brought you to life somehow.
I felt really bad because I used to, even though I've lived in the South my whole life, I used to like put on a Southern accent and talk about mudding and trucking and stuff like that. And then in like 4th grade, I got a kid who's like buzzed haircut, like gap in his teeth, super hardcore accent, and like, tell us a fun fact. Like, well, my favorite things to do is go mudding with my paw. And I'm like, He's a nice guy. I feel bad.
What's so funny is like people always be like, I'm gonna go get on the 4-wheeler and go hop in the mud pit and go mud. And it's like, have you ever actually gotten on a 4-wheeler, gone down to a mud pit and went mudding? Yeah, it's incredible. It's so fun.
Yeah, I've always wondered, like, is that fun?
Like, it's amazing.
I've been like tempted to try and like go to my southern roots. Like I didn't fish for the longest time, but I like fishing.
Yeah, fishing's fun, man.
Like deep sea fishing's super fun.
I've never been deep sea. I've only been pond fishing.
It's not fun when your like boat captain like starts to get weirdly political and like and talk about his mistresses and how he's 7 inches laying down, like stuff like that. Like
yeah, that all happened.
Like, you ever see someone, like, we're talking about mom mentality, but, like, they go into mom mentality with, like, no one agreeing with them.
Yeah. That's perfect. Yeah, that's what those people are, man. Yeah. It's their mom mentality all by themselves. Well, hey, Timmy, what's got you down?
I don't have any skin.
Well, have you considered rubbing lotion on it? The stinging pain means it's working.
Dr. Luigi's Build-A-Skin.
It's like Build-A-Bear.
Oh no, it's basically just a like an antiseptic that like the foam just scabs over, and it's like this makeshift skin that just scabs.
Your entire body is just scab. Don't pick at it.
You just flake when you move.
Oh, there's got to be somebody who has a skin condition that happens to them. That's got to be
there's something like that called this kid called the butterfly child.
Yeah, I've seen the video about him.
God, that poor kid.
Yeah, I hope he's doing okay. I don't know how long ago that video was made about him, but like, I hope he's doing all right. I mean, you know,
I hope he's discovered some kind of like medicinal marijuana or something.
Yeah, like, dude,
something to take the edge off.
For real. Well, what a journey this podcast has been. We've covered a lot of ground.
We had no news stories, but that's okay.
No what?
No news
stories.
Oh
yeah, no PR nightmare this time.
But that's fine.
Yeah. So to break the facade a little bit, I want to talk directly to all you people listening out there. Give us some feedback. Let us know how we're doing on this. This is just kind of a little passion project Stevie and I are wanting to try. We just see how it goes. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We will see you all on the next Bean Boy Pod.
Yeah, which might be a hot sec because we're going to be on Christmas break.
Yeah, so Merry Christmas, everybody. Yeah. We started the episode off with that.
Happy New Year. New Year.
Happy John Deere, everybody.
New Year, new you, except technically that's true because of the rate at which your cells die and get replaced.
Yeah, if you were born 7 years ago, congratulations. There's a new you. It's every 7 years. All your cells have regenerated.
Time to bring back the roaring 20s.
Oh God, please no.
I don't know, dude. I'm ready for that flapper girl aesthetic to come back.
I want flappers to come back. I like prohibition.
Yeah, you don't drink that.
All right, everybody. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Drink out of a toilet.
No, it's banned.